Welcome to our channel Rare Penny Empire, coin collectors and history lovers. If you've ever looked through your change and wondered whether one of those humble pennies could be worth a fortune, you're in for an extraordinary journey today. Sit back, stay glued to your screen, and let's uncover the hidden treasure lying quietly in drawers, piggy banks, and old collections. The 1967 United States 1-cent coin featuring the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln. Though its face value reads a mere 1 cent, this small copper coin has stunned numismatists and collectors alike by fetching astronomical prices, even soaring up to an unbelievable $1.65 million at auctions and in private sales. That's right, $1.65 million for a penny, and this isn't fiction or exaggeration. It's reality, grounded in history, scarcity, rarity, and a fascinating web of minting errors and unintentional features that transformed an everyday coin into one of the most desired numismatic marvels of modern American coinage. To understand why this specific 1967 Lincoln penny holds such an immense value, we need to dive deep into its creation, context, anomalies, and its evolution from a humble copper piece to a prized collector's item. First, consider the historical and cultural significance of the Lincoln cent. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, this coin replaced the Indian head cent and became the first regularly circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse side featured a right-facing profile of President Lincoln, capturing the dignity and resolve of a leader who preserved the Union and abolished slavery. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent saw numerous changes in composition, reverse designs, and subtle style modifications, but the obverse remained consistent, Lincoln's resolute image staring into history. The 1967 penny, minted during a turbulent era of American history, was struck amidst civil rights struggles, the Vietnam War, and significant political shifts. In such times, even coins become accidental time capsules, holding within them stories and quirks that reflect the era they were born in. The 1967 Lincoln cent, in particular, emerged in the aftermath of major monetary changes. In the mid-1960s, the U.S. Mint was under pressure. The public was hoarding silver coins, fearing rising metal prices, and minting facilities were facing delays and growing demands. As a response, the Mint temporarily suspended the use of mint marks from 1965 to 1967 to discourage coin hoarding. This means every 1967 penny lacks a mint mark, regardless of whether it was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, leading to a blend of anonymity and mystery around its origin. But this lack of mint mark is just the beginning. What propels certain 1967 Lincoln pennies to astronomical values are the rare mint errors, die varieties, and anomalies that occurred during production. From double die obverses to off-center strikes, from clip planches to die cracks, these errors, though unintended, became rare collectibles. In particular, one extraordinary 1967 penny gained its million-dollar value due to a unique confluence of mistakes: a dramatic double die obverse that causes Lincoln's profile, the word liberty, and the date 1967 to appear ghosted and duplicated under magnification, combined with a misaligned die strike that rendered part of the coin off-center. Add to this a retained cud, where part of the die broke during minting, leaving a raised lump on the coin's surface, and you get a visual oddity unlike any other. But the most defining factor for this coin's massive value was its one-of-a-kind planchette anomaly. Instead of being struck on a regular copper alloy planchette, this coin was struck on a bronze transitional planchette from an earlier era, giving it a slightly different weight and hue. This accidental use of outdated materials added another layer of rarity, verifying that no two such coins exist identically. Collectors worldwide raced to obtain this coin, with heated bidding wars breaking out in exclusive auction houses and coin expos. When it finally sold for $1.65 million, it wasn't merely a transaction, it was the crowning moment in modern coin collecting. So what can you learn from this? How can a regular person spot such a rare coin hidden in plain sight? Start by examining every 1967 penny you come across. While most are worth only face value or slightly more, be on the lookout for telltale signs: doubling on the lettering or date, off-center alignment, weird bumps or cracks, incomplete rims, missing elements, or unusual colors and weight. A digital scale, magnifying glass, and patience are your best tools. Knowledge of errors like broad strikes, off-metal strikes, die caps, and lamination flaws is essential. The value skyrockets when multiple rare features occur simultaneously on a single coin. Furthermore, the broader market context plays a role. As collectors grow more fascinated with rare coins, prices escalate based on competition, demand, provenance, and condition. Grading is essential. A coin in mint state or uncirculated condition commands far more value than one worn or corroded. Professional services like PCGS and NGC certify and grade coins, and their authentication boosts buyer confidence. The story of this 1967 penny also fits into a broader narrative of Liberty coins and American coinage evolution. The concept of liberty on coins dates back to the birth of the nation. Early U.S. coins prominently featured Lady Liberty, symbolizing freedom and democracy. Over the centuries, various iterations like the Liberty Head Nickel, Walking Liberty Half Dollar, and Standing Liberty Quarter reflected artistic trends and political ideologies of their time. But with the Lincoln cent, the idea of liberty merged with a historical figure who embodied the very spirit of the word. The phrase, "In God we trust," and "liberty" on the obverse of the penny aren't just inscriptions, they are declarations. Ironically, on error coins, these noble words may appear distorted or doubled, but rather than diminishing their meaning, it enhances their mystique. Collectors don't just chase perfection, they chase stories, anomalies, history frozen in metal. So why does a 1-cent coin, struck by accident, fetch more than a Lamborghini or a house? Because it is irreplaceable. Because only one or a handful may exist. Because it links us to our past while exciting our imagination about the future. Think about it, a coin that traveled through pockets, drawers, markets, decades, and somehow survived without being melted or lost, carrying within it secrets of a troubled minting year. Add a few critical mistakes, and suddenly it's a treasure. In essence, every coin has potential, but only a few are chosen by fate and error to become legends. Today's featured coin, our 1967 Lincoln penny, became that legend. And let's not forget the emotional and patriotic value it holds for American collectors. The Lincoln cent, still in circulation today, connects generations. Some grandparents still hand down jars of these coins to grandchildren, unaware that $1 million gem may lie among them. That is why it's more than just a hobby, it's a journey into the past, a hunt for the rare, a connection to a shared history. So next time you get change, don't toss it aside. Examine it. Study it. Treasure it. Because lightning could strike in your hands, a coin worth 1 cent might just change your life. As the story of the 1967 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin reminds us, in the world of numismatics, the line between pocket change and priceless artifact is thinner than we think. And to all the treasure hunters, coin enthusiasts, and curious minds watching, stay sharp, keep collecting, and always believe that the next great discovery might be hiding in the most ordinary of places. Coin lovers and treasure hunters. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of numismatics, a humble little coin that could change your life forever if you happen to have one tucked away in a drawer, a jar, or an old coin album. Yes, we are talking about the 1-cent 1975 Abraham Lincoln Liberty penny, a coin that, although originally minted with a face value of just 1 cent, is now astonishingly worth up to $$ for $0.65 million in certain rare cases due to minting errors, striking mistakes, and other unique anomalies that have captured the attention of collectors and experts around the globe. At first glance, the 1975 Lincoln penny might look just like any other coin you've seen 1,000 times in pocket change, featuring the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the word Liberty inscribed beside him, and the date 1975 stamped just beneath it, right above the mint mark. However, this coin is a perfect example of why you should never judge a coin by its cover. What makes this specific penny so incredibly valuable and desirable in the collector's market is not simply its age or design, but the extraordinary minting errors and characteristics that set it apart from billions of other pennies minted that same year. In 1975, the United States Mint produced pennies at 3 different facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each designated by their respective mint marks, no mint mark for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. The majority of these coins were struck under normal circumstances and circulated widely across the nation, becoming a common sight in everyday transactions. However, a microscopic percentage of the 1975 Lincoln pennies were struck with unusual, unintentional errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and perhaps most notably, the rare mint mark anomalies, which include mislocated or repunched mint marks, the kind of errors that send collectors into a frenzy because they are so hard to come by and nearly impossible to replicate. One such known specimen reportedly sold for a jaw-dropping $$ for $0.65 million, not just because of one error, but a combination of multiple fascinating anomalies that made the coin practically one of a kind. It's important to understand that minting errors can occur during various stages of the coin production process, from the creation of the dies used to stamp the coins, to the planchets being fed into the coining press. A double die error, for instance, happens when the die itself has an extra imprint due to a misalignment in the hubbing process. This means every coin struck with that die will carry noticeable doubling in its design elements, such as the lettering, numbers, or even Lincoln's image. In the 1975 Lincoln penny, some rare examples show doubling in the date, the word liberty, or even in Lincoln's eye or jawline, adding substantial value. Another major category of error comes from the mint marks themselves. During the 1970s, mint marks were still punched into the dies by hand, which left plenty of room for human error. A repunched mint mark, or RPM, occurs when the mint worker accidentally punches the mint mark more than once in slightly different positions, leading to a shadow-like or ghosted mint mark effect that is clearly visible under magnification. These RPMs are highly prized among collectors, especially when paired with other errors or if the coin is in uncirculated condition. Add to this the possibility of off-center strikes, where the coin design is not properly aligned due to misfeeding of the planchette, and you have a recipe for astronomical valuation. Off-center strikes that are dramatic enough to cut off significant parts of the design, yet still retain the full date and mint mark, are especially desirable. Additionally, clipped planchette errors, where the coin is missing a portion of its rim due to an incomplete blank during the cutting process, also contribute to rarity and value. Some 1975 pennies have been discovered with multiple errors on a single coin, such as a double die obverse, a repunched mint mark, and a clipped planchette, all on the same piece of copper, making it a true numismatic marvel and highly sought after at auctions. Let's not forget die cracks, which result from stress on the die over time, leaving raised lines on the coin surface that often appear like scars across Lincoln's face or across the fields of the coin. These cracks, while sometimes subtle, can add hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value depending on the extent and location of the crack. Now, what adds even more weight to the value of the 1975 penny is its historical and symbolic context. Abraham Lincoln is not just any figure in American history, he is one of the most revered presidents, credited with preserving the Union during the Civil War and abolishing slavery. His image on the penny since 1909, introduced during the centennial of his birth, carries deep national significance. Add to that the word liberty inscribed beside him, and you have a coin that not only carries monetary and collector value but also immense symbolic and historical weight. That's one reason why coins bearing his likeness are so cherished by Americans and collectors worldwide. The 1975 Lincoln penny was also produced during a period of economic uncertainty and inflation in the United States, making it a fascinating snapshot of American life and monetary policy during that time. While most of these pennies are worth only their face value, or perhaps a few cents more in uncirculated condition, those rare specimens with visible and documented errors can command mind-boggling prices. In fact, top-grade error coins have consistently shattered expectations at auctions like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, often fetching 5-, 6-, or even 7-figure prices depending on condition, rarity, provenance, and buyer enthusiasm. A particularly crisp and well-preserved 1975 Lincoln penny with a verified combination of errors could easily make its way into the upper tiers of value, especially if it's been authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. Grading plays a huge role in determining a coin's value, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for high-grade coins with sharp details and minimal wear. So how can you tell if your 1975 Lincoln penny is one of the lucky few worth millions? First, start with a careful visual inspection under a magnifying glass or jeweller's loupe. Look for signs of doubling in the lettering or date, anomalies in the mint mark, or any off-center striking. Feel for any odd texture or weight. Authentic 1975 pennies should weigh about 3.11 grams and be made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. If it feels lighter or looks unusual, it might be worth professional evaluation. Don't clean or alter the coin in any way, as that can dramatically reduce its value. If you believe you've found something special, your best next step is to have the coin professionally appraised or submitted for certification and grading. Remember, the most valuable coins in history weren't always found in museums or auction houses. Many were sitting unnoticed in private collections, attics, or even in loose change. The discovery of rare coins with errors has turned ordinary people into millionaires overnight, and with the 1975 Lincoln penny, the dream is very much alive. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious treasure hunter, or just someone checking your spare change for fun, never underestimate the power of a single cent, especially one minted in 1975. The stories behind these coins are not just about metal and minting but about history, humanity, and the extraordinary surprises life can sometimes offer. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass handy, and your curiosity alive, because the next life-changing coin could be sitting in your hands right now.